What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope everybody is having a very terrific Thursday today. We are seeing a pretty decent day on the markets. If you're a Tesla shareholder, you're having a fantastic day. Not even a terrific day. You're a just fantastic day. Nice little gap up here today. And we'll take a look at why here in just a second, as I just kind of hinted to it. Gapped up about a third percent, a little bit more than that there on the SPY. The interesting thing was yesterday on the mic, we kind of talked about this little breakdown that we had and mentioning that, hey, look for that retest at probably that 580 level before you probably look for that rollover. Probably was going to happen there in the next hour. Pretty much it did. It didn't quite get to 580. It got to like 579.90. So it got pretty close. It didn't quite get there. Technicalities. But then we rolled over, and then in the last hour and a half, we saw it bounce off the lows. The interesting thing is where we gapped to today was 580. So it's kind of where we gapped to today. That was basically the high of the day, right up there at the open. We've kind of gone sideways for pretty much the first hour and a half. We haven't really done a whole lot. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I would have wanted, if you're bullish, trying to lean bullish here, you'd want to see, well, some better bullish activity, I guess, coming in here. As far as the Qs, yep, I mean, pretty sideways there as well. So Qs got hit pretty good by the end of day yesterday. And there you go. Qs currently up about 0.5%. IWM currently up about 1/3%. You can see choppiness kind of mostly sideways. Kind of got some lower highs kind of coming in here over the past hour and a half. Okay, DIA sideways gap down. DIA down 1/3% there. Okay. RSP gap up for the most part sideways. There you go. All right. As far as how this looks on the daily, the RSP having a little struggle bus. It did break down pretty good yesterday. Didn't hold towards the lower ends of yesterday's price action as much as some of the others. We'll take a look at that here in a sec. But nice little gap up right in that 10 EMA today. So could just be a retest after the previous couple of days we've been breaking down. Just have to wait and see on that. DIA continuing to move lower. Yeah, I mean, held a little bit lower yesterday than the RSP did, but hasn't broke yesterday's low yet. IWM, nice little gap up, kind of retesting into that 20 EMA, 10 EMA today. So we'll see if that kind of breaks down. The interesting thing in the IWM is it bounced right off that 50 EMA yesterday. So the Qs had a pretty significant breakdown yesterday. You can see it just kind of went right through that 10 and the 20 all yesterday, and it actually held below the 20 at close. So, yeah, I mean, still seeing that weakness there in the tech area. Even still today, it's not a whole lot of strength. We did not hold the close below the low of October 16th, this little lower wick that we had. But we are seeing not a lot of confidence, not a lot of strength kind of coming through there on the Qs. Anyways, SPY. SPY also had that breakdown. You can see how much more of a body that they have lower there on the Qs and the SPY. Even though they got a pretty good lower wick yesterday, they still have a pretty good body compared to that RSP where, I mean, it was mostly just a big lower wick there on the day. Now, the RSP did have a little bit more of a gap down yesterday. Yeah, that's kind of the way things are looking right now. Not exactly seeing a lot of positivity, even though the TSLA kind of came out and crushed it. Speaking of TSLA, look at this, a big old abandoned baby that kind of formed out here over the past roughly 2 weeks from that gap down that TSLA had from announcing what their quarterly sales were, vehicle deliveries were, back on October 11th. And obviously you can see on earnings, got the pretty big gap up. Now my question, I don't delve this deep into earnings, but we've seen over the past quarter or two some of the other bigger car manufacturers really kind of pull back on their EV ambitions, electric vehicle ambitions, obviously that's going to look really good for Tesla, right? That's less competition. The question was going to be, are they not seeing demand for all electric vehicles, or those auto manufacturers not seeing demand for their electric vehicles? I think we got the answer. I think we got the answer. Tesla doing pretty solid, even though they didn't crush it on deliveries, but they are still the electric vehicle maker out there right now. And as far as LRCX, they also had earnings. They did pretty good. They didn't sound like they did horribly bad or anything. They make that equipment to make semiconductors and stuff like that. They beat revenue by roughly 2.75%. They beat earnings by about 6.5%. You know, are people saying there's a slowdown? That's where you're gonna have to go look in the forecast, kind of see what the transcript kind of says, what the executive CEO, CFO, COO kind of said about forecasts and stuff like that. What they're seeing, are they seeing a slowdown, or are they still pretty optimistic on the space? I'd imagine they're probably gonna be feeling pretty good. Most executives don't really come out and say, "Oh my God, it's not going well." So LRCX did pretty well. They didn't break down, and it was a really good thing that they didn't break down because they were right on the edge, man. They were right on the edge. So at least saved them for a day. It's not like they're completely out of the clear. They are still down at this kind of lower area it's been at for the past quarter. So LRCX did pretty good on earnings. As far as the VIX, obviously we saw the VIX trade a little bit higher yesterday. Kind of talked briefly yesterday about this little basing pattern that's kind of forming out here over the past couple of days. We're just kind of gone sideways. We were pulling back there for a couple of weeks, and now kind of for the most part of this week, just kind of been going sideways, especially like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sorry, and then Thursday, a little bit more Wednesday, Thursday, kind of starting to potentially go higher. So, are we basing this week, and maybe we're going to move higher as we go into next week? Well, I mean, we got tech earnings next week, so DXY dollar index pulling back a little bit today. It's been on an absolute hot streak. It's got to rest sometime. That's all I got to say. GLD Gold Trust had a little bit of a pullback day yesterday. Nice little gap up today. I still think you're probably looking for at least a couple more days of a rest before potentially looking to see a continuation there. Yields, 10-year yields, seen a little bit of a pullback today. Okay. They've also been on a little bit of a hot streak. Let's see, 2-year pulling back a little bit, and the 30 years pulling back a little bit as well. As far as the 10-2 inversion, yeah, shorter terms is performing a little bit better today. So not a crazy difference across the yield curve. As far as HYG, yeah, we were seeing some breakdowns earlier this week for the most part on some of these bond prices. HYG, though, bounced back today. Kind of makes sense. We're seeing yields move higher. LQD, let me turn on the long terms. LQD is kind of just in a spot where you're just, yeah, kind of what we were talking about like yesterday. You're looking for a little bit of a higher retest, a little bit more of a flatter, not so much of a snap retest like we had last week, where we had a very quick Monday through Wednesday, very quick snappy retest, and then it came right back down. You're probably going to look for a couple days kind of sideways consolidation at some kind of price level. It might be here at the 110 EMA, maybe up to this gap fill, something like that. But once you start to see a couple days sideways, I would say probably want to start paying attention to that. Same kind of deal here for the TLT. Same kind of deal. And it might make a run up to this 94 level, because that's kind of where we got some tops in before. And that's kind of where that 200 moving average is. That would be where some of these other moving averages would be, like the 20, possibly 15 coming down, or 50 coming down. I think you're just waiting for a little bit better spot. All right, taking a look at that sector rotation on the day. XLY discretionaries, TSLA has absolutely lifted up that sector of the market. Looking pretty good there. Real estate makes sense. Yields are down. Communications in line. Tech in line with the market. Healthcare, financials, staples, utilities, energies, industrials all underperforming, and materials at the lower end of the day. As far as intraday price action, since we had that huge gap, discretionary is still doing pretty good there on the day. Real estate as well, utilities outperforming, communications, tech, financials slightly outperforming there. Healthcare, staples, industrials kind of in line with the market there. Energies definitely lagging behind there today, and materials also at the lower end of the day, intraday.